What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial I'm going to be sharing how to make this trendy cone sleeve. I'm sure you must have seen these sleeves in some styles on the internet, and this tutorial is all about how to make this sleeve. If you're new here, my name is Ayomide, and on this channel I post sewing tutorials and pattern drafting tutorials. This tutorial will go in depth on how to construct this cone sleeve. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly click on the subscribe button below and let's jump straight into this tutorial. For this project, these are the materials that I used. I've got this Ankara beautiful colorful fabric right here. I also have my interfacing here. Let me also state that the texture of your interfacing would depend on how structured you want your sleeve to be, so you can use any interfacing of your choice. I've got my tailor's chalk, fabric scissors, and I also have my pattern master right here. To proceed, the very first thing I'm going to be doing is to fold my fabric into two, just as if you want to cut a half circle. So just go ahead and fold your fabric into two first of all. Thereafter, I'm going over to mark 8 inches downward from the fold. This is not a standard length, however this should depend on how long or how short you want yours to be, but 8 inches seems a fair length to start from. So I'm just going over to mark 8 inches right from the fold, just as you would mark the radius of your skirt when you're working on a half circle skirt. Once I was done marking, I went ahead to cut this out. After that, I also duplicated this, meaning I cut 2 pieces of this. So one would serve as the lining and the other one would serve as the fashion fabric. You can also decide to use a lining for this, but for this tutorial I'm going to be using both the fashion fabric for both the main fabric and also for the lining. Watch me duplicate it right here. This is what I have after cutting the both pieces out. Another alternative to this is that if you have enough fabric, you can fold your fabric into 4, cut a full circle and split your full circle into 2. At the end of the day, you're going to be having 2 half circles, alright? So the next thing I'll do is to iron in interfacing on both of them for structure. Like I said, the kind of structure you want will determine the kind of interfacing that you're going to be using. For this one, I'm using a lightweight interfacing. So I'm just going over to iron this on my main fabric, which is what I'm doing right here. I'm done ironing and here is what I have. The next thing would be to stitch them together along the curved edges, and to do that I would place one against the other one, proceed to my sewing machine and stitch from one end and terminate at the other end, leaving the straight parts open. After sewing, this is what I have. The next thing I'm going over to do is to reduce the seam allowance I have at the edges where I just sewed. This would help you to eliminate any unnecessary bulge that you might have there. And once I'm done, I'm going to be turning this to the right side. After that, I'm going to proceed to my ironing table and iron this down. This is to ensure that it lays nice and flat. This is the outcome after ironing. You can see how good looking it is. The next thing would be to close this edge that I just folded over, and since I used the same fabric for both fabric and lining, I have the liberty to choose what parts I want to be on the front. That's the parts on the outside, and the parts I want to be on the inside, and I've decided. So what I will do is fold over and then proceed to my sewing machine and stitch this all the way down just to close that end. I'm done, and here's what I have. I've also gone ahead to trim off any excess bulge that I might have, and then the next thing I'll do is to turn this over. Make sure that that sharp point is really sharp. That is the whole essence of this sleeve, so you might want to use anything that would help you bring out that sharp point. I'm going to be illustrating how to fix this right on my mannequin. In order to fix the cone, locate the part where you joined it together, and that part, for me, I would love that part to be downward because I don't want my seam showing. So that part is going to be downward and the other part is going to be upward. That's the part where I'm going to be fixing on the shoulder. You can fix this at the very tip of your shoulder, the part closest to your armhole area, or you can extend it a little bit into the shoulder, whichever one you want. However, you make sure or bear it in mind that you're going to be tacking this down with your needle and thread. So you would have to tack this down with your needle and thread. Just tack a little portion that's going to keep the cone sleeve in place to your bodice or to a gown, whatever style it is that you want to tack this onto. So guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial. You can see how simple this is. You can make this sleeve in multiple layers. It is still the same procedure. You might just have to alter the length. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure you give it a huge thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly click on the subscribe button below for more tutorials, and until my next video, make sure you have a blessed day. Goodbye.